Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now last episode we got started setting up our new refined storage array, which you can see behind me. You can also probably see that I've expanded it considerably since the last episode and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So first things first, this morning we are going to show off what we've done to expand that array and all the auto crafting that we can now do with it, because it's a major life improvement I think for us. And after that we're going to start moving on to finishing up our next level of Technium and getting ourselves off of this base and headed to the moon. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So, as I was mentioning, this is our refined storage array that we set up last episode, and I've added a little bit more to it here. Now, at this point, we can autocraft just a ton of things. I've got auto crafting for all of our storage disks all the way up the tiers. So as we get more and more ingredients, we can start auto crafting those. You can see I've got a lot of auto crafting of mechanism pieces here. You're going to see the induction providers and cells that we need for a multi-block storage system. That's going to come later. We don't have access to all the ingredients we need, but I wanted to start setting up everything we needed to make that. We have our control circuits, all of that sort of stuff that you can craft in Mechanism. I also went ahead and set up all of our Technium ingots to this current tier. So we have access to all of those in here. You can also automate gears, we can automate our plates, all of that is in here. So let's take a look at how that's set up real quick. So here we have our advanced auto crafting tables. Those are made with extended crafting, regular crafting tables, and some hoppers. And in here you can see that I have stored a recipe for each of the types of ingots that we want to make. That's what these shadowy looking ingredients are. So we have a pattern in this crafter, just one, of how to make that ingot. And you can see it just has these inputs as generic types. It's a processing pattern, and that means it's just going to shove all of these ingredients in here, and it's going to expect one of the output to come out the other end. So by using the advanced crafting table in this way with a stored pattern, you can save this. It'll automatically fill in all of those in the correct slots for you, and then it'll spit out the ingot on the other side. So that's super, super useful for us. And I've got that for each type of ingot. Now, I couldn't figure out how to do that so that we have multiple recipes in one, because you can only have one selected at a time here in this saved recipe box. So as a result, I have one crafting table for each of the types of ingots. Over here in our extra storage crafter, I found out that extra storage allows you to upgrade crafters that have more than 9 slots. This one is a diamond tier crafter, and thus it has, what was that, 6 times 9? So 54 slots. That is a lot of slots for storage. And these are all patterns that it knows how to make. So our hardened integral components upgrade, it can make those automatically. Netherite blocks automatically. Clay out of clay balls and clay balls out of clay, back and forth. All of these sorts of things that we reuse regularly, and all of the intermediate ingredients that we need as well, so the raw processors, etc. Then we have our ultimate smelting factory, fully upgraded. That has a crafter behind it. Let me hop back here. And that has all of the things that we smelt, our silicon that we need, and our raw processors. Next to it, we have a multi-servo press. This doesn't have any die in it, so that just is going to make plates, and so that knows how to make pretty much every plate that we can do in the game. And then next to it, of course, we have another one that can make any gear in the game. And again, that's a processing pattern that you just dump in the inputs and specify the outputs, because otherwise it wants to include the gear working die. If you do not include the gear working die in that recipe, it'll keep it in the machine. And that's really important for us because we don't want that popping out and popping back in every single time it does a process. So this way it stays in here permanently, and that works nicely. And yeah, so that's kind of what we've set up for now. We have some other things here. I do have one sequential fabricator here for our dielectric paste. That's not working quite right. This is a little wonky and it keeps forgetting the recipe. I think it's because I'm using it to insert lava in rather than lava buckets. And I never quite got fluid crafting working properly. I have a fluid grid here, and that's supposed to be storing lava, but no matter what I do, I can't figure out how to get patterns to properly process and use to make lava buckets or lava flasks. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. It just doesn't work. So if anybody has any tips on how to make that work in this mod pack, please let me know, but I've never gotten that to work successfully. which of course you need those lava flasks to make some of these ingots. The advanced Technium requires these lava bottles. So that's still a blocker. So that's what we did between episodes. So today's quest is to get to Hellish Technium. Before we can do that, we have to make these Technium Singularities, and these things are, quite frankly, real annoying to make. We need to get a bunch of our previous tier of Technium, the Ultimate Technium, and put it in here along with this Ultimate Catalyst, and we need 8 pieces of that Ultimate Technium. The catalyst is not so difficult. We just need 1 piece of black iron and these 4 ultimate components. Ultimate components are only a little tricky. We need black iron slates, which we just make with black iron. That's relatively simple. I'm not worried about that so much. The luminescence I am a little bit more worried about, because although we have glowstone dust and redstone dust, we do not have gunpowder. We don't have a reliable source of gunpowder right now. There's a couple of different ways to get it here that I've been looking through. We could try and make some sulfur, but I think sulfur is not the most efficient way to do this. I think instead that using, the flint to make this is really the way to go, because all these other things are just going to be too complicated for us. I have tried pulverizing some nether quartz and some lapis to get that sulfur as well. That works pretty reliably, but it's not the easiest way. So what I've landed on is crushing flint. This is the recipe that we are going to use to get just the bare bit of gunpowder that we're going to need to proceed here. Now, we can get that flint from a couple of different ways, but I think the way here is through gravel. So I'm going to go up here and grab a bit of our gravel and enrich that so that we can make flint out of it. So we're going to grab up, I don't know, a few stacks of this, because I don't know how many of these catalysts we're going to need, whether or not we use 1 for each. We're going to throw that in our enriching factory here, and that is going to make all of our flint. So we're going to let that percolate for a while until we have probably way more flint than we're ever going to actually need. But then we are going to take that and throw it in the crusher. Now, in the crusher, that is immediately going to make our gunpowder, and of course, this is also probably going to be more gunpowder that we're going to need, but we should have plenty to make that luminescence. And here you can see the crusher I had set up previously for immersive engineering. So I'm just going to toss all of these in the top of our crusher, and I think that gives us 4 pieces of glowstone dust back for each ingot. You can see I was making lapis in here before and throwing that into the lapidary dynamo. So yeah, that should be also more glowstone dust than we are ever going to need. The benefit here is also that the crusher was not in use versus all of our other machines for pulverizing. So yeah, you can see we got sulfur as a side product of that lapis that we were putting into our lapidary dynamo. So that was one source of sulfur that I found, but it just, when I was testing it out earlier, you can see I didn't get very many for all of those many stacks of lapis that I threw into this machine. So not the best way of going about this. So the only other thing that we need glowstone dust for here is to make our glowstone ingots. So I'm going to take some of this extra glowstone dust that we have and go ahead and make ourselves up a bunch of these refined glowstone ingots, because I know that we are going to use those on a couple recipes as well. So let's just go ahead and cook those up while we are doing everything. Okay, and we'll make a stack of luminescence to start. Now, let's go ahead and make up, which of these is it we were supposed to make? It's the ultimate one, right? Yeah, the ultimate one. So we need 4 of these made up. So for that, we are going to need to grab up the last of our black iron and grab up a couple of emeralds here. There we go. Okay, so there's our black iron slate. I guess not plates, but slates. So we're going to make up a few of these. How many should we make? Like 16? I think 16 will be good for now. And that uses most of our black iron anyway. So let's go ahead. I think that's everything now that we need to make up these ultimate catalysts. And I'll make, I guess, 16 of these. I don't know how many I'm going to need. So I guess if it's 1 per ingot, then we'll probably need to at least start with that. That's for 4 ingots I think we can make. But we need to make ourselves some more black iron. And again, it's going to make me 4 even if I ask for 3. That's not a big deal. And then we can just make up this ultimate catalyst here. And then we grab up our ultimate technium. I'm not sure how many of these we are going to need in the long run here. I think what this says is that, oh, is that the right slot? That's not the right slot. That's the right slot. Okay, great. And apparently that's only one of 8. So apparently we need to put 8 of these in here to make this singularity. Oh, maybe I need to give this power. Hold on. Let me plop a flux network connector on this real quick and see if that doesn't give it enough power. A flux point, I guess they call them. And put that on here. And now power is going in. Oh, and there we go. Now it has crafted our Technium Singularity. Perfect. Okay, so that is now complete. Oh, and it doesn't look like it used up our ultimate catalyst. That's even better. Now we can take this Technium Singularity and use that to make, well, let's complete the quest first. Then we can make our Hellish Ingot. So this is complicated. So it uses a bunch of stuff that we already have, but it also is stuff that we need to make more of. So the refined glowstone, as I mentioned, we started making some of that. Black iron's easy enough. Netherite is just going to take a while to get all of that netherite. And the soul sand, of course, is something that we already had laying around. So we're making that in one of our miners. So let's go ahead and grab up a bunch of our soul sand there, 4 pieces of that. And I think all of these other things we have in our storage array. Do we have enough netherite is the real question. So I think we need 8 blocks of netherite all said and done. Oh, that's once again, the wrong crafting grid. I'm going to continue to make that mistake. Let's see here. That's 7. I can make 8, right? Yeah, I can make 8. No problem. Okay. So now, finally, we are crafting our Hellish Technium. That was painful and required a lot of items that are hard to automate or impossible to automate, I guess, for us at this point. So that means now we are on to space. So we first have to unlock, oh no, the Beyond Earth research requires 4 beacons, which means we need to make 4 nether stars, and those we make in our ultimate crafting table with this elite mob essence that we got in an episode or 2 ago, which is just really kind of obnoxious to make these. I'm not a fan of how difficult this is. Instead, we might use that resource duplicator. I think that's cheaper actually to make another star once you have the first nether star, which you can just throw onto a pedestal to make another one. So I am going to go ahead and grab up as much of our essence as we have laying around. I don't know if we have enough here to make all 4 nether stars, but if we can at least make the first nether star, we will be sitting pretty good. So that's 20 of the blue essence. Yeah, definitely duplicating is going to be cheaper because there's only 10 of the blue essence to duplicate it once we make the first one. What we do not have, though, is the resource duplicator. So we need to make that up real quick. There we go. It's an easy enough recipe. Again, just using our elite mob essence stuff. Okay, so our essence is done cooking and converting and doing all of the things, so we can make our very first nether star. Wonderful. And there are 2 more nether stars. I'm going to keep an extra nether star just because I am duping these, and that way I can continue to dupe these and have one to start from. So we are going to go ahead and make this beacon. I think we have everything we need in our crafting grid already. We have the obsidian, and I think we have the glass that I put in there too as well. Where is that recipe? There's the beacon. Perfect. So I am going to make 4 beacons. Perfect. And now I need to make up all of the extra Hellish Technium ingots. This is going to take me a second, so I'm going to go ahead and run and do this off camera because this takes a very long time to get all the ingredients and put it all together. Okay, so let's put together this research paper. There is the Beyond Earth research paper. Good. And now we can complete this quest. With that in hand, we can start making these other ingredients for Beyond Earth. It looks like the first thing we need is a compressor. Oh, and that requires a lot more Hellish Technium. The rest of this stuff looks straightforward. The hammers, I think, are just iron, but that much Hellish Technium is going to take a long, long time to create. Okay, great. So, 2 iron hammers. I'm not sure if we use those for anything else, but works for now. And there is our compressor. Perfect. Another quest complete. And I assume this uses power, but maybe not. Yeah, this uses electricity. And apparently you put something in it and you get something that's compressed back out. I don't know if this works like pneumatic craft or what. Let's go ahead and put it up here with these other machines. We'll just put it into the ceiling. That's fine. Nobody's going to notice anything. And there we go. It's got power. Now, what do we do with a compressor? I assume that we use this Well, I'm not seeing any recipes with it, but I assume we use it to make compressed something, probably compressed metal. Oh, there we go, compressed steel plates. So I assume we dump compressed steel in there. Oh, and for this NASA workbench, yeah, so the compressed steel is made in the compressor, but it also looks like we need more Hellish Technium to make this. So we're going to need to make more of that. Let's go ahead and grab up some steel and see how this thing works, though. If we just dump this in here, does that just magically make it into compressed steel? I see something happening. There we go. That icon is moving. Okay, now we have the 64 compressed steel. I made the advanced technium as well. We need to make ourselves a regular workbench, and there is our NASA workbench now, ready to go. I don't know if this requires power, so let's go ahead and find a place to put it, and let's see how to use this thing. Oh, I get it. So we put in all of the ingredients to make a rocket ship, so we just need to figure out what all of the pieces are that we need to make that rocket. Let's go ahead and check off this quest, and here is a rocket. A rocket nose cone, some compressed steel plates, steel tanks, and rocket fins, and a steel engine. Okay. What goes into making all of those? Let's see if we can't start crafting this up. Hopefully it's just compressed steel. No. No, it is Hellish Technium again. Okay, so I guess we need to get started making all of that up, which means I'm going to have to go make more of those singularities. All right, so finally we have our 3 Hellish Technium in. So let's go ahead and make our rocket nose cone. For that, we're going to need one more redstone torch. Maybe that's a good thing to teach this. Okay, there we go. And now, you know, we may have made just enough compressed steel, but I'm not positive yet. Let's go ahead and make some rocket fins. I think I need 4, right? Is that right? Yeah, 4 of those. We're going to need a couple of steel tanks. Those are easy for us. And now we are on to the steel engine. Let's make the fan first. Then let's make the engine frame next. Good. And that should be everything we need to make that. Where is that plate? Let's make one more. Great. And momentarily, there it is. Perfect. 1 steel engine. I think that is everything. Oh, but we do need 6 of these compressed steel plates to make the body of the rocket. So let's go over to our workbench here. And let's see if it will let us put all of these together. Some steel tanks and a steel engine. And that gives us... Whoa! That was a loud noise. We have a tier 1 rocket. Great. We are going to need to make ourselves a rocket launch pad, and of course we need to use Hellish Technium ingots for that. There's no way that they wouldn't make this unnecessarily difficult for us. Okay, good. Hopefully we only need 1 set of 9 of those. Now I don't think, yeah, we're going to have to be... I think we are about out of resources here to make everything that we need. So, yeah, we need more uranium and we need more atomic alloy. I do have more atomic alloy that should be coming in right about now. So that's enough for that. Actually, more than enough for that. That's good. We have twice what we need, but we do need to grab a bunch of uranium out of our uranium storage. Now, it looks like we are starting to finally run low on uranium. We've been doing pretty good so far, but, you know, we're not going to go through this amount anytime soon, so that doesn't really worry me. Let's go ahead and tell ourselves that we need 32 of these ultimate technium. Looks like we've got everything else to make there. And let's get that kicked off and rolling. Okay, 20 minutes later, and now we have our Hellish Technium ingots so that now we can make our rocket platform. So we also need to make ourselves up 4 more iron plates, apparently. Let's do that real quick. You know what? I'm just gonna make a boatload of them if I'm gonna do this. Why not? There's no reason not to make a boatload of these. Now there is our rocket launch pad. Perfect. Okay. So that checks off another quest. So we have rockets and rocket launch pad. What are we missing? Apparently we need... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. That we have to melt oil from Hellish Technium in a magma crucible. Oh, well, that's just That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Looks like we need to make a fuel refinery as well. So we'll add that to our collection. So let's see, fuel refinery. Let's add that, and that needs Hellish Technium. Okay, let's just take a stock here. What else are we gonna need? There's a fuel refinery, an oxygen loader. That's 3 more pieces right there, right? Okay, good. And then there's an oxygen tank. That's 4 more pieces there. Spacesuit, of course, this all is also using more of our Hellish Technium. So all said and done, that looks like we're gonna need upwards of about 32 pieces of Hellish Technium. Okay, good to know. So I'm gonna go make half a stack, and I will see you all here in a little while if I don't rage quit the game between now and then. Great. So, see you in a second. All right, so we have most of the things together that we need to move from this stage into the next stage. So to get a fuel bucket, we are gonna need a fuel refinery. It looks like this section is locked. You can see the direction the arrow is going. So I guess we have to finish this section first. So maybe we'll try to make the fuel refinery. Yeah, we can. Great. It did take forever to make these ingots, by the way. I just want everybody to know that it took hours to make all of those ingots, and that was not necessarily a good time. Okay, so there is our fuel refinery. Now, with that, we should be able to make fuel, and fuel is made with crude oil. And let's put our Hellish Technium in there and see what happens. We're going to need another jerry can, I assume, to hold that. And we'll put this in here for our glass storage. Okay, there is some oil. Grab that up. All right, so now we have a bunch of oil. So if we come back over here to our refinery, if we drop our oil in here... Yeah, that's making fuel slowly but surely. Okay, great. So we're just going to hang out, and I'm going to go ahead and process all of this oil real fast. And while the oil is going, let's work on some of these other pieces. The oxygen tank, I noticed, has one problem for us, and that is that we need red wool. Is there a way to get beetroot in here that I haven't found yet? Beetroot seeds can be made from pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds can be made from melon seeds. Oh, and we can get that from industrial hemp seeds. Perfect. Well, we have a lot of industrial hemp seeds, so let's turn those into melon seeds. We'll turn those into pumpkin seeds, and the pumpkin seeds will turn into beetroot seeds. Great. Now, we can plant some of our beetroot here. I think we could just take a section of our garden out here, and we'll use that to make our beetroot, because we don't need a whole lot of it. There we go, and we'll just replace that. Okay, so there are 8 beets. 8 beets gives us 8 red dye, and that's a start here. And then our red dye we can put in here, and I think we're going to end up needing several oxygen tanks. So let's make ourselves, I guess, 6 to start red wool. Let's make 1 oxygen tank here. And that completes the quest at least. We're going to need to make an oxygen loader, and that requires at least 1 oxygen tank. So oxygen loader, that means we need to make another furnace. Great. And there's that. And then with that complete, we can start making our spacesuit. Now our spacesuit also needs a couple of oxygen tanks, so it does look like I need to get a couple of more beetroots. So let me go grab a few more beets. And how much red wool? Do we have any? Yeah, we have 3 in there. So let's do, I guess, 9, because I think we're going to end up needing at least 9 oxygen tanks. So there's 3 oxygen tanks. The spacesuit needs oxygen gear, which all we're missing is iron rods for that, I think. We should be able to do the rest of this. There we go, oxygen gear. Spacesuit piece 1, complete, great. How about the space helmet? Can we make that? We need an iron helmet for that. Piece 2, complete. Our space pants for our space dance are easy. We'll do that. And then our space boots, last of all. Perfect. So that is all of those quests complete. Wonderful. And that should be this entire section. Okay, so it looks like although our fuel is being produced slowly but surely, we are missing one important ingredient here, and that is oxygen. We cannot go to any other planet until we have oxygen. Now to make oxygen, we are going to need to take our water and put it into an electrolytic separator. So we talked about this, I think, previously, about how a mechanism has gases and fluids. So to make our electrolytic separator, we are going to need a few things that thankfully we already have on hand. Okay, so to make our electrolytic separator, first we have to make an electrolytic core. That's easy enough, just gold dust, osmium dust, iron dust, and infused alloy, all common ingredients that we have laying around the house. The electrolytic separator itself, we then combine all of those ingredients, and there we go. Now we've got that. So this, we do need one other thing for. We need a couple of tanks to store our ingredients. So a tank. Not a fluid tank, we need a chemical tank. These are easy, it's just osmium and redstone dust to make these. And we're gonna make two, one for hydrogen and one for oxygen. So let's go ahead and find a good place to set this down. I'm probably gonna use this same infinite fluid source I have here for water. So let's run it off of there. And we do need to connect it to our power, so our power relay is right there. We can probably do this really simply in one little setup here. Let's put this, let's go over one more. Let's put it on top, and then let's run our power into the back of it. So where is our, our universal cable? We're gonna go down and then up. Great, and this is already separating stuff out. So this tends to be sided, if I remember. So if we put one tank on one side, we will get our hydrogen out, and if we put a tank on the other side, we will get oxygen out, just like that. And you can configure this in a variety of different ways. You can have it dump the excess out or dump everything out. So we're going to dump excess hydrogen out of this system. You don't want to dump excess of both of them unless something's really, really weird with your setup, because then you're just going to be turning water into hydrogen and oxygen that then you immediately release into the atmosphere. That is not what we want. And I wonder if I can put, oh, I can put the spacesuit directly into the chemical tank to fill it up. So we're going to do that and let this run for a while, filling up with oxygen. Yeah, that's good looking. Okay, and now let's grab up, I guess, our rocket and our launch pad and find a place to put this. I am worried that even though we have a rocket launch pad, that it's still going to burn down our entire area here. So I might go ahead and build our launch pad further out this way. Maybe we go from here this direction. I've never used these rockets before, so I don't know how much heat that they are going to kick off. Okay, there is our platform. Let's put down our launch pad. And yeah, it looks like that's a multi-block structure. Yeah, that's a big thing. Okay, let's go ahead and put this down right here. There we go. And I wonder if I can just use these cans on it. Can I just... Oh, nope, nope. What are you doing? What are you doing? I was hoping that we could just use the fluid can on it. I guess we have to shift click. Can I put the fluid in? I can't figure out where the fuel goes. Ah, there we go. We just had to take the fuel out of our jerry can and put it into a fuel bucket. So hopefully that will now work. Let's see here. If I shift click on it, yeah, there we go. So with a bucket, we can insert fuel in here. With a jerry can, we cannot. I don't know why that is not compatible, but we are going to be fine with that. Oh, that is not what we want. We do not want to get out of here just so soon. Okay, there's two, and let's go ahead and do our last bucket of fuel. There we go. Okay, we are all full up on fuel. Great. Okay, so we are now fueled up on oxygen. We've got fuel in our hand. I even made another advanced chemical tank just to hold extra oxygen. So we should have plenty of breathing room, as it were. So we are about ready to go to space. Okay, here we go. Blasting off. So with all of that complete, I think it's about time to say goodbye to this base and to head on to space. So thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye friends!